How much control do we have over our emotions, thoughts, and inner impulses? Where does our control start? Where does it end? What are effective coping strategies for that? And what doesn't work? Stay tuned to find out. Hey everybody, welcome here. This is Becoming an Expert at Self-Leadership. I'm Maika, I'm a psychologist, and happy to see you here. It's immediately plausible why it is helpful to be in control of our inner world. Control gives us the ability to actively design our lives, to adapt to different situations, requirements, and roles. We're in charge of what we're in control of, and that makes us feel powerful and safe. Control over our emotions, thoughts, and impulses allows us to change, develop new habits, and be the person we'd like to be. But, and this is probably now the big but that you've already seen coming, there are limits to how much we can control the human mind. And when we try to pierce through those limits, we create havoc for ourselves. Many of us have this big, I should be more in control of myself, looming over their heads that is unrealistic and ultimately damaging. I should be more in control of my feelings, thoughts, and impulses. I shouldn't be feeling this emotion. I shouldn't be thinking this thought. I shouldn't be having this impulse. This is because a big part of society still believes this myth that is at all possible, that it's possible to be in full control over your feelings and thoughts. And if you're not, it's because there's something wrong with you. I'm here today to tell you there's absolutely nothing wrong with you. No one is in full control over their emotions and feelings. And you're an absolutely normal human being if you're not in full control over your inner world. Full control is a myth that is perpetuated when we say things like, cheer up, you don't have a reason to be unhappy. Real men don't cry. There's no reason to be afraid. There's no such thing as healthy anger. Stop crying or I'll give you something to cry about. But humans cry. Humans are sometimes sad. Humans are sometimes afraid or feel an inner signal that says no to something, which in psychology we call anger. And in the colloquial sense of the term, to some ears that sounds like too much, but it is there. Humans have a full range of emotions that they need as signals from their inner world. And we can't just flick a switch on our emotions, thoughts, and impulses and change them into what we think they should be. So the same is true for the thousands of thoughts that we have each day. We can't be in full control over what goes on in the thinking and visualizing part of the mind. We all have scary, unpleasant, and strange thoughts sometimes. That's just the way the human mind works. It's not a sign that something's wrong with you. And it's also not true that every thought that pops up in our mind has a deep meaning, that it reveals or says something about who you are. Many thoughts just reveal something about human nature. And if what comes up is a possibility of human nature that you don't want to identify with, or that doesn't resonate with you, that you don't want to put into action, then just let it drift by. It's not a sign that you're a bad person, that you had this thought. It's a sign that you have a human mind and that your human mind is doing what human minds do, generating thousands of thoughts, just like a popcorn machine generates thousands of popcorn pieces. Please don't give individual thoughts the power to define you because they don't. You don't have to feel like every thought is you. You are who you choose to be, what you choose to do, and acting is very different from thinking. Having a thought doesn't mean that you have to act on it or that you're losing control over what you're about to do next. If we don't reflect on this and keep living with this looming, I should be more in control of myself, we'll put ourselves under the chronic tension of feeling like a failure. We'll try to fight our emotions and thoughts by numbing, suppressing, avoiding, distracting, or counteracting. Just think about this. We're fighting a fight that can't be won. There's only loss here. Pain, stress, tension, and a long-term increase in unpleasant emotions and moods. Trying to have full control over our thoughts and emotions is like trying to control the weather. It's trying to be something we're not, a machine. It's really important to know that there are limits to how much we can control our inner world, that there needs to be a flow in our inner world, and that disconnecting from trying to suppress or numb or shut out emotions and thoughts is unhealthy, and it leads to stress and to pain. So what can we do? How can we strike this balance of what we can and can't control in our inner world? Firstly, what we can control is how we make sense of our inner world. And what's helpful is to make sense of it from a place of trust, kindness, empathy, and self-compassion, and not in a judgmental way. So how do you make sense of, how do you relate to thoughts and emotions that come up? And do you judge them as saying something negative about you? Also, let go of distinguishing between good and bad thoughts. You can distinguish between helpful and unhelpful ones and unhook from the unhelpful ones, disidentify, unblend, and let them drift by. But unhelpful is not the same as bad. Do you see the major difference? Bad says something's wrong with me morally. Unhelpful says this is a hypothesis fabricated by a human mind, the mind that I happen to be observing. And this hypothesis isn't helpful to my values right now, so I'll unhook from it. I won't try to suppress it or fight it. I'll unhook by disidentifying from it. And when it comes to emotions, feel them. Feel all of them. Listen to them. Learn from them. They're an important feedback loop from your inner world. You need them. Understand what caused them and see what that means for how you design your life and which thoughts you give reality status to. Change what needs to be changed in your life setup and disidentify from unhelpful inner narratives. Build helpful inner narratives. What I've described is sometimes compared to stopping to try and fight the flow and course of a river from inside of the river, our attempt at full control over our inner world, and instead stepping out of the river, sitting down next to it, and from that observer's perspective, allowing the river to flow and do its thing, and making better choices for the overall state of the river, but not judging the river for being a river. On YouTube, the stream of video suggestions is also kind of like an endlessly flowing river. And if you want to increase the likelihood that videos from this channel will be recommended to you again in the future, then remember to subscribe. If you want to be certain that you'll see another one of my videos, also activate the bell. Check out my weekly self-leadership newsletter for more support. Till next time, take care, and remember, humans cry, humans laugh, humans feel an inner no. Humans have a full range of emotions, thousands of thoughts, and we can't be in full control of that. Nor is that necessary for a healthy, happy, full, and successful life.